Dr. Fani Prakash, Deputy Director, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and Dr. Akshay Panigrahi. We'd also like to invite Mr. G.S. Shivkumar, Executive Director, Sprint Exports Private Limited. And with that, I'm going to hand over the session to Dr. M. Vijay Gupta, requesting him to take it forward from here, please.
A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for all of you for coming here. This morning we heard from our Chief Minister and also the Vice President the importance of fisheries and aquaculture in food security, nutrition security, and livelihoods. I just take a couple of points from their talk. Our Vice President, Honorable Vice President has said, India is number 2 in terms of production in aquaculture and fisheries after China. I don't know whether we should be happy to say number 2 when comparing with China. We have as many aquatic resources as China has, but at a number 2 stage, we are producing only 1/10 of what China is producing. 1/10 of China is producing about 40 million tons of fish from aquaculture, whereas we are producing only 4 million tons from aquaculture. This indicates there are vast aquatic resources that could be properly utilized, fish production could be increased, and availability of the animal protein to the people, and also create millions of employment in the state. And what technological needs are there for them too. And then we have in aquaculture, both freshwater aquaculture, brackish water aquaculture, marine aquaculture process that we have. So I would like to request now the Commissioner of Fisheries.
In 9 coastal districts, where 186,000 hectares area, aquaculture is now existing aquaculture is happening. In this, about 54,000 hectares brackish water area, and rest of the freshwater area, fish culture is happening, sir. So here, sir, with regard to aquaculture in Andhra Pradesh, there are several issues, challenges the farmers are facing. One is a production productivity issue, then good management practices issue, especially the seed. Though large number of hatcheries do exist with regard to Vanamai shrimp hatcheries, but quality seed has become a biggest problem, challenge to the farmer. So wherever we go, the quality seed is demanded by the farmers. The hatcheries are actually regulated by the Coastal Aquaculture Authority. The institute is in Chennai, but 4 or 5 people are there. They regulate the hatcheries. That is a constraint faced by the farmers with regard to seed. Then second, aquaculture area also, now farmers are demanding zonation because brackish water area, freshwater area, agriculture in freshwater area, agriculture is also simultaneously happening. That is why zonation of the area is very, very important, has become now. And farmers, another demand they are asking is the creeks, drains which feed the water to aquaculture pond, that should be properly cleaned time and again, because we have to maintain these creeks and drains so that the free flow of seawater as well as fresh water will be there in these freshwater channels. Thereby, the disease will not be coming to these aquaculture ponds. That is another area. Then in culture area, recently government, with the support of our Honorable CM, we have, government has given a fisheries policy, and farmers, aquaculture farmers are supported by way of small incentives like aerators, pond automation devices, and then pond construction also. With so many budgetary provisions, we are supporting the small marginal farmers. But here, what the farmers are asking is the testing facility. Aquaculture is basically water quality parameters are very, very important. DO, pH, salinity levels, and ammonia, nitrate. These are the major important elements affecting the shrimp culture in the pond. So testing facility, water quality parameter testing, soil testing, then the seed quality testing, PCR lab. This is another important area. So the private labs are there, very few numbers are there. Government lab also, only 2 places we have strengthened recently, another 8 we are strengthening. But here, the testing facility, cost effective, because private labs are charging more. That is why the PCR seed testing lab facility very much required. This is one area the farmers are facing. Now government is also providing some funds to strengthen this lab, integrated labs. Then another.
Also a farmer, an aqua farmer, and also a technocrat. I'm a software engineer with a MS degree. So that's how this subject becomes relevant here, where I'm going to talk about the usage of latest technology in aqua industry. So I'll just stick to my subject. So this is where, as you can see on the screen here, I'm going to talk about the segment that is aquaculture, aqua industry per se, not aquaculture alone, where we have 4 different segments. That's aquaculture, processing and storage, and transport and logistics, clients where you're doing the financial transactions. So that's on in the row, as you can see out here. And in the column, you would see the technologies. I have 2 slides. There's one more slide after this. And the latest technologies, I'm going to talk about IoT sensors, analytics, artificial intelligence, and drones, robotics, and blockchain technologies. How these are being used in these segments of this industry. Let me quickly go over this thing. See, I've been in this business for almost 20 years now, 22 years. And in 95, when we started this, at that time, the primary, so many technologies weren't available, and our main goal was ensuring that our storage is properly done and the stacking is done, and whatever the material that we store, it should not be a first in, last out, because the value of the material is going down. So at that time, our focus was mainly on ensuring that first in, first out. That means the material that goes in first gets out first, otherwise we are losing a lot of money. So that's been the focus at that time, but the latest technologies are not actually being taken advantage of. So I would say aqua industry has been a real slow in adopting the technology, mainly because it happens in rural area. Second, because there is the understanding of technology is not there. So IoT sensors, which is the latest, latest in the lot, where you have to measure the temperature, pH levels, oxygen, salinity, and ammonia. So I have one gentleman from Airwalker Technologies who is going to cover that. So let me not take much time on that. However, as a company, we are already using it in our aqua farms, and we are utilizing some of these sensors to get the data. And the second one, as you can see, the process and storage. Whatever you see here, the tick marks in green color means that those are the technologies that are being currently used. The one crossed with red can never be used. That is, IoT sensors cannot be used in financial transaction. And the one in black means future technologies. That's how we gave a notation of this. And in processing and storage, let me talk more about the storage, where we are adopting these IoT sensors. Whatever I talked to you about, the first lot of material that gets in, we are trying to get it out by using the proximity sensors. Otherwise, a lot of times people who go into the minus 18 degrees centigrade temperature will go fetch whatever is available first of that particular lot, and majority is staying back. So, and also the transport and logistics. In addition to the GPS for vehicles, which is quite common, temperature sensors for containers, the latest thing that we are doing is every container will have a device which is not only keeping track of the container, and with the advent of this GST bill that has come in, there are no toll gates. So if the authorities want to know what is actually being transported, so we are coming out with a device which will be given access to the authorities, where they can figure out who is the sender, who is the buyer, and what is the produce. And if they want, they can actually stop it. Otherwise, it will go, it will pass through. And this saves a lot of time for exporters as well as the logistics companies. So then analytics and artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, the green color means that the technology that's already being used in aquaculture and also in processing and storage, whereas the other two areas like transports and logistics and financial transactions is a future requirement which is likely to come up. Now drones. So this is one, that can be used both inland and outland. The cost of drones is coming down significantly. As I can see, in agriculture, it is being used quite effectively. Each can carry at least between 10 to 25 liters. Each drone can carry. So in aquaculture, especially inland farming, they can use drones, whereas drones cannot be used in the other three areas, as I mentioned in this slide. Then comes robotics. Robotics is one area, once again, it's being used can be used very effectively, though the cost is prohibitively high. So it can be used not only for in aquaculture, where it can go clean the ponds. It can also be used in future for processing and storage, where stacking. For example, if you take one of the largest retailers, Alibaba, is using robots effectively. You may have seen video in Tech Insider that it is using robotics all through. Robots are the ones which stack, which actually deliver the material to the containers. Now, the last one, which is very important, that's why I'm actually quickly skipping these slides, because I was only given 4 minutes by the chairman, is blockchain technologies. A lot of people must be wondering what is this technology and why is that, I'm talking about it. With the advent of GST, as I mentioned before, this is becoming very important, and also with the latest trends that are happening in the aqua industry, where star rating should be given to each company based on whether they have backward integration and forward integration. So based on the number of the kind of integration they have, that kind of rating is going to be given. So blockchain technology can be effectively used there. So, and as a company, we are actually experimenting with that. We are doing a proof of concept. The second thing is, as you know, most of us, we can actually reduce the cost of transactions and the time, and most importantly, it is secure. So we are experimenting. As a company, we are also experimenting with that. But the technology is evolving. So pretty soon we're going to see those technologies, especially the.
I am from a Central Institute of Brachychaetra Aquaculture, an institute under ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. We do research for brachychaetra aquaculture, that is coastal aquaculture. And as you know, today morning also, CM Saab was showing the figure. We export at least 40,000 crore of rupees we get from the seafood export. And almost 70 to 80% goes to one single item, that is frozen shrimp. And that comes from coastal aquaculture. And in every aspect, I should say, Andhra Pradesh is the leader in aquaculture, whether it is freshwater aquaculture or brachychaetra aquaculture. And all of India, other states, they just follow the enterprising farmers of Andhra Pradesh. But still, we have a challenge. When we think of now, our production is somewhere 4 lakh plus metric ton of shrimp we get from coastal aquaculture. But just now, Chairman M.B. Gupta sir was telling that though we are proudly say that we are second in aquaculture, but the gap is too big compared to China. There is one aspect which we need to emphasize is diversification. We lack in diversification of the species and diversification of the system. If I think in aquaculture, if now we need success, it means we need that the species which we are thinking of is an improved variety. Suppose now if you see in coastal aquaculture, a single variety of shrimp that is called Peneus venami, which is dominating our Indian coastal aquaculture, that is all the mother prawn, mother shrimp of this species is imported. It's not a native species to India. So how it happened is because a few scientists in USA and Hawaii and all, they tried to genetically improve this species. And because of that, all our native species, including Peneus monodon, that is tiger shrimp, and Peneus indicus, that is again Indian white shrimp, which is counterpart of the Pacific white shrimp, the venami. All these species just getting like the production and everything got reduced like anything, because we did not start any improvement program for these species. So this is high time we start this improvement program, and I am happy to say that the state government, Nayak Sahib is here, who is very, very much progressive. He is thinking in that line, and already they have started thinking that should be some improvement program for our native species like Peneus indicus, and the seeds should be available. And coming to the other diversification species, we are also as an institute, we are also promoting the Bekti, that is sea bass culture, and also the mud crab culture. And all these things are there, though they are not as profitable as shrimp, but definitely they will be helping some of our small and marginal farmers to diversify and also increase the production. And another way to increase the productivity is by diversifying the system. Now we are just same system we are following, and now just because to get a success in aquaculture, now we have improved species as much important as a improved farming system. So now the farming system, we tried in various ways to improve the farming system. We have now latest eco-based technologies are available, which is like morning also CM Saab was telling that the organic farming. Likewise, the organic aquaculture have a lot of potential. That is a diversified eco-based farming system, which we are working on this, and it is nowadays when there is a lot of consignment comes back because of antibiotics and all these things, problem.
And Andhra Pradesh, now the main goal is the addressing the key issues, particularly to marginal and small scale farmers who contribute more than 80% of the farming area. And smart farming for Andhra Pradesh is likely to be a new innovation, particularly in terms of technological improvements that have taken place, mainly to reach the unreached, to manage the unmanaged are the key issues for us. Because there are so many issues that have been pending. So my previous speaker has spoken a lot about these issues. And technology is very much needed, particularly in what better way we can adopt these technologies. My contention is in two important aspects. One is disease mitigation, and second one is addressing the environmental issues. And diseases are quite common in our areas, particularly because of the high stocking densities and the intensification of the cultures and intensification and irregular practices and whatever the farmers are doing to enhance their incomes in a short-term goals. So that's why the aspects of pollution have been causing some sorts of diseases. And these diseases are to be addressed, and so many disease diagnostics tools have come into picture. And up to 1994, there were no diseases in Andhra Pradesh. In 1994, white spot syndrome virus struck the disease. And till now, there is no remedy for the disease, even though in spite of several technologies are being implemented. So prevention is better than cure. We are going on that particular aspect. And farmers are being educated and to screen the seed by means of involving some important technology that is called as PCR technology to test the seed at the laboratory level. And in the farming level again, we are advocating the use of probiotics, which are beneficial microorganisms, which is a biotechnological tool again. So technologies are there where we can mitigate the diseases. At the same time, we need to address the farmers in several ways, because farmers are in diverse nature, and the farming practices are also quite different from one farmer to another farmer. So what we are thinking, advocating these things in terms of information technology. So the state government and the initial stages, the private sector people, they have started this Aqua Chaupal. So they started advisory services to the farmers and in all aspects. Then the government has thought of e-Sagu in agriculture, and this has to be replicated in aquaculture also. Once e-Sagu is replicated in aquaculture, which has been piloted in West Godavari district, that should be replicated in other districts also, so that the farmer advisories can be given through informative technologies, so that farmers will readily benefit for some experts will be there, and they can render technical advice and guidance to the farmers. Then the Tata Trust has come into picture. They have doing some good trust by means of M-Krushi, which my next speaker will talk of. Then Reliance Foundation, they have been spreading the messages, voice messages, text messages, and the good management practices and the ways to mitigate the diseases. And also there is quite a number of apps have come, web-based services have come into picture, who have been rendering a lot of service to the farming. So this is a sort of even though the government have been involved in establishing several laboratories, as our Honorable Commissioner has spoken of, now the technologies have gone so far, pond automation has come. And this pond automation is nothing but a lab inside a pond. So the farmer need not go to a laboratory. He can establish a lab inside the pond, by means of which he can monitor all the technological parameters like DO, oxygen, and ammonia, and temperature, pH, etc. So he can monitor it by sitting at the house itself. So database has to be created, web services has to be created. So this all requires some sort of assistance and cooperation, technological cooperation from the foundations that have been addressing these issues. So once these foundations have been addressed, definitely the days have come that smart farming is a reality. Because there is a saying, vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. But we are having both vision and action in this state. That is mission mode vision, that definitely dream come true situation. So thanks to the authorities for giving me this opportunity. And I'll also request the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to assist the Department of Fisheries in all the ways that are feasible and possible in implementing these strategies. Thank you so much.
The Department of Fisheries activities have already been expressed by our Commissioner. As you all know that the aquaculture is increasing tremendously in Andhra Pradesh, which contributing 70% of the aquaculture products, that is shrimp from our AP only. As aquaculture area is expanding, there are inviting so many problems, whether water quality or disease management or exports. So in order to handle the problems and address the issues, the Department of Fisheries and the Government of Andhra Pradesh is coming forward to address the issues. That is, by helping the farmers in establishing integrated advanced aqua laboratories in 22 locations in Andhra Pradesh. Because our water quality and seed quality are all inputs. The farmer is not aware of the quality of these inputs. The shrimp hatchery people, water quality, feed, and also the aqua products or aqua medicines they are using, the quality of the products now nobody knows. So in order to create awareness among the farmers and also test the quality of the various inputs, the department and government of Andhra Pradesh is coming with 22 proposed laboratories where we will analyze all water quality parameters and also the ELISA and LCMS technologies for testing the residues in exportable products. So as you know that the awareness of the aqua farmers is also very important. So the department is targeting these issues and creating awareness and training programs to the farmers. In addition to that, the Department of Fisheries has taken a very good task in the registration of all aqua laboratories existing in the Andhra Pradesh, whether it is government or private. So now to bring the aqua technicians into common platform or uniform platform to adopt standard protocols for analyzing the various parameters so that our reporting system also be uniform. And we are also bringing out a software where these aqua laboratories will be networked so that we will have a share among the aqua farmers, aqua scientists, and scientists from India and abroad also. So in this way, the government of Andhra Pradesh will be coming up with new innovative approaches. Thanks so much.